quite a varied career. I started out as a maker, and I have got a degree in ceramics from Glasgow School of Art, which I graduated back in 1993. I used to love doing the shows. I used to love doing craft fairs and big shows, but when I got back to the workshop, I used to find it all a bit lonely and it wasn't quite for me at the time. And I got the opportunity to go over to management side of things really quite a number of years ago, back in 2000. And I became a craft development officer in Yorkshire. And that really was quite a specific decision that I made, really, to move away from actually being a maker to really promoting makers. And I felt that I'm much better, I make a much more valuable contribution to making by not making. I still had a huge passion for craft, but I didn't really enjoy the process of making and then selling my own work. Whereas I absolutely love setting up things like this or exhibitions and seeing other people flourish. It's really changed my life, really. The skills that makers need to develop really are a lot to do with their professional development of their marketing, rather than, obviously, as makers they know what they're doing, they make beautiful things, but things like photography is usually quite poor sometimes, even with people who are quite experienced, and really about how to present themselves and be thorough, you know, in their telling their customers where they're going to be. It's notoriously difficult to get them to actually engage with their customers beyond the face-to-face. But it's very difficult though. I can understand when people are so concentrated on making that, you know, they don't have time to think about that. But it's so important, and some little simple things could really, really help. I think with the email and digital technology, I think it can be made so much more simple. Makers need sort of a variety of skills really to enter the market these days. I think it's a lot more, got to be a lot more clued up than it used to be. If you're flexible, and if you have the ability to turn your hand to different projects, whether it's public art, for example, or working with children, or working with adults, you know, I think there's ways that can help to support your practice and ultimately keep you doing what you want to do. You know, if you want to go over to management like I did, well, do that. You know, there's scope with that. If that doesn't sit with you well, then keep with what you're doing and build a portfolio around it. Whether writing, you know, there's all sorts of things. I've done all sorts of things over the years to keep doing what you want to do. But I think there's lots of opportunities. You have to be very tenacious and determined and quite organised. If I was going to give anybody some advice, it would be get good photography. Because at the end of the day, that's all you are. You are your objects. If you can't afford a photographer, group together and use a day or two of time in the studio to get some good pictures. But definitely don't think that you can do it yourself unless you definitely can. You know, that would be my best, because that comes up time and time again.